I like snakes, but not to, like, I don't know. I just don't find them entertaining. Lizards, however, entertaining.
Okay. Llamas and alpacas, and surprises.
Listen, if your week's been weird, cursed, or involved in any interaction with a zebra outside of a zoo, congratulations. You're already spiritually aligned with the Convoluted podcast.
We're the 7th best weird news podcast online, according to the absolutely no one but us. We're climbing slowly like a Chernobyl dog up in radioactive hills.
I'm Liz, medical menace, chaos enthusiast, and today's expert in suburban zebra theology.
And I'm Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, bringing structure, skeptical energy, and the occasional anime reference to this absolute circus of stories that we are about to endure.
Today's episode is loaded with everything from MrBeast playing Disney villain to a rogue cop getting arrested at Disney World mid-vacation, plus a zebra named Ed that became Tennessee's spirit animal.
And if that wasn't enough, we got dogs evolving in radioactive wastelands and a YouTube feud that ends in a live stream double homicide. So yeah, it's one of those episodes.
It's giving news cycle breakdown, but making it entertainingly traumatic.
But a quick reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe for more glorious offbeat chaos. And if you're listening on Spotify or whatever you get your podcast, go ahead and follow the show, drop a review, or even better, send this episode to the weirdest person you know.
See you, niche internet gremlins. Keep sharing, keep spiraling, buckle in, because it gets stranger from here. But before that, how has your week been so far, Jesus?
Well, you and me and a few others went to go see the new How to Train a Dragon film. So that by the time this comes out, that review should be out. So that was fun. For the most part, it has, as we discussed a little, it's been chaotic around here. It's been chaos. It's been chaos around the whole country these last couple of weeks. We probably won't be talking about those just because of how unhumorous it really is. But those events are happening in our neighborhoods here, and those have been keeping my friends and family restless, and by osmosis myself. But how has your week been?
It's been okay. I had a short week because I worked last weekend, and I'm just kind of gearing up for the 7-day stretch I put myself through, and I'm like, okay, I can do this for the money. I can do this for the money. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, it's always for the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else you want to discuss before we get started?
Nope.
All right, then let's jump into these stories.
Pretty good.
All right.
So, Jesus, what's the most expensive thing you've done to impress a date?
I would say we went to the movies, dinner, and this is back when I lived in Chicago. We went to the the lakeside beach. That's what I did.
Cute. But MrBeast said that let's take it and raise it $500,000 because the man literally rented out an entire Disneyland park for one date.
Okay, that's no exaggeration. He dropped the footage like on Instagram like it was a casual brunch. The caption read as, "I rented out the Disneyland for a date and it cost $500,000.
He even gave us a carousel of them in front of the castle, like a fairy tale, but sponsored by AdSense.
And Twitter, X, whatever Elon's calling it now, the whole site is combusted. There's tweets going from this date cost $500,000 from MrBeast, and then the
people were spiraling. Quote, MrBeast rented out Disneyland to impress a girl. My confidence is gone. Heartbroken.
Bro didn't just clear the park. He cleared the people's self-worth.
Also, real talk, the idea of hundreds of Disney staff in full costume performing for 2 people.
Imagine being Goofy, paid to twirl in 90-degree heat. Oh yeah, it was fucking hot, wasn't it? While a drone operator
Yes.
whispers, "Okay, now slow-mo kiss under the fireworks."
Someone got assigned churro cart duty and was like, is this dystopia?
Disneyland, but it makes it a luxury loneliness.
So we gotta ask, a flex or a content bait?
So Mr. Beast plays kind of 4D chess when it comes to these weird things, right? He's been doing these spend heavy stunts forever. But turning a romantic date into a brand moment, that's a new tier.
It's giving algorithmic affection, like swipe right if you're ever monetized emotional intimacy.
All right. So you get you get half a million to plan a ridiculous. What's your play?
Easy, rent out a Target, but every aisle themed by like a different rom-com. Also, the self-checkout machines sing.
Skydiving into Olive Garden, unlimited breadsticks, and essential terror.
But yeah, MrBeast dropped $500,000 to play Prince Charming, and now everyone's questioning their minimum wage romance goals.
So yeah, that's wild, but that seems normal, right? For Mr. Beast.
Yeah, growing up as a kid, people joke, the Lakers always said when they won, they're like, yeah, we're going to Disneyland. But everybody the whole park got rented out for all of them and their friends and family that they wanted to bring to the park. It wasn't just 2 of them, it was everybody, there was at least a decent crowd.
So yeah, it's like,
So,
I don't expect anything less than this. Do you think it's too cheesy to just post about it, or what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
him flaunting his money again, I mean, I don't know. I find it a little, I don't know, weird, a little extravagant, over the top. For $500,000, I think about a trip to Bali or something like that. That'd be a great trip, a romantic trip. Yes, it's not, isolated by yourself, but you can get those bungalows that, you're by yourself. Just you two, chilling off on the coast,
Yeah, and then the other side where he has to kind of make content about it, that's where things get a little much. I like, congrats on him, getting engaged, and looking forward for his partner and trying to, still do stuff, but I think there's a time and place for posting, but it's like everyone posts, right? So that's the other thing. Is like, should we give him as much grief as we are when everyone posts about it? What are your thoughts when thinking of it that way?
If it posting just to show off, okay, that's a little too much. Posting because it's an adventure and a story, sure. I guess so. Yes, sure. I don't post everything single detail. Look at the shit I made today. I mean? Like there's like super silly stuff you don't want to, but like to advertise too, like, oh, we're gonna be, this is bye, you know, XYZ brand, and this is what we're eating. This help us, I don't know. I just find that a little. I working and playing at the same time. It doesn't seem so much fun. Like you have to be like constantly thinking about work, not enjoying the moment, enjoying the time. So I don't know. That's a little overboard.
Fuck me, right?
Yeah. And for the most part, I'm looking through some of the comments online and seeing them. Most of them are positive. Some people are like just memeing. just saying like, bro, like spent $500,000 to try to impress this girl. One, they're already engaged. Two, he has the money to do it, so it's not like we should hold him against that. But you said there are other ways, but other people, show their affection or different dates are different. You got your classic going to the movie dates or grabbing dinner, breakfast, stay at home dates. There's everything. Some can be inexpensive and some can just be luxurious, right? So at this point, it's goofy to kind of just joke about it here. That's why it's one of our first stories, just because, it's just MrBeast spends $500,000 on a date. And it's I kind of knew about this a little bit because someone was streaming when the video was being made for this, so it was interesting to see. Any thoughts as far as this, or any like fun dates that you thought like, wow, this is not as more expensive than I thought, or vice versa?
That's way too expensive for a date.
No, your own experience.
Date, I'd be
your own experience. Your own experience.
Unfortunately, I have been deprived of dates, so my life. Hey yo, I've done a lot of more inexpensive, cheap dates. So, only a handful in my lifetime. So, there. There's that. I'm depressing, sad, and lonely.
Wait.
Fuck me, right?
Okay. So, coming up next, another trip to Disney, but this time it ends in handcuffs. We're talking about a cop on vacation who brought a whole family with him.
I'm churros to kidnapping. Let's go. Okay, picture this. You've already allegedly just kidnapped someone at gunpoint, crossed state lines, and maybe left a dead dog in your wake. What's your next move?
Oh god, that's so crazy. Apparently, Disney vacation?
Obviously, which is exactly what Officer Kendrick Brown of Pritchard, Alabama, allegedly did. Arrested at a Disney World resort over his involvement in Mississippi kidnapping. Feels so on brand for this episode.
All right, so according to Fox 10, Brown showed up at a private party in Gulfport, Mississippi, quote, forcefully detained, end quote, a man at gunpoint, and then transporting him to Alabama. Remember, no warrant, no jurisdiction, just this was just alleged kidnapping, not a roadside stop.
He literally crossed state lines and then went to ride the teacups?
Yep, multiple outlets confirmed that he was later tracked down at Disney World and arrested there. He was, quote, vacationing amongst tourists like nothing happened.
Reporters also say a dog died during the incident, likely shot during alleged abduction. That adds a whole other layer of tragedy to the bizarre chain of events.
Yeah, and those chain of events are apparently house party leads to kidnapping, leads to apparently a dead dog, leads to a Disney arrest. That's not a script, it's a fever dream.
Let's talk about Disney-esque twist. Brown gets arrested in the most recorded, most populated, most family-friendly place on earth. Did you think Disney would absorb him?
Right, like some misinformed cop logic. It's the happiest place on earth. No one will notice me here.
Or maybe he thought he'd die on a ride. Less tragic, more Riddick.
And imagine tourists lining up for selfies next to a man in cuffs. That's the viral content, except a felony. So, why Disney, right? Why not hide in a motel or a different state? He didn't even go to a speedy house of pancakes.
Also, how many federal laws did he think he could outrun? kidnapping, interstate transport, equals federal jurisdiction. Oh my gosh. Even before you add resort selfies. All right, y'all. Let's brainstorm. What's the worst place you could get arrested?
While skydiving, imagine the treacherous descent and handcuffs in midair equals nightmare scenario.
I vote for a silent retreat. You're in a lotus pose, a chime sounds, and boom, they cuff you. Spiritual sabotage.
Or getting cuffed mid-massage at a couple spa. Sir, please slide off your towel before we begin.
Slide off the table.
Either way
The
works.
towel. Woo! Naked. So there you have it. Kidnapping, cross-state drama, a dead pup, and a Disney World arrest. Felonies on vacation is the tagline.
Compact synapse. Officer kidnaps stranger with no authority. Dog dies. Officer vacations at Disney. Officer gets arrested with mouse ears.
If only the rules right for this.
If only. That's a wild story. It's once again one of those things where just can't trust cops. Just can't trust cops. Not even in when they're not even from the same state apparently. What are your thoughts here?
That's just crazy. Like, why would he kidnap somebody? Go ahead across lines and be like, nothing's happening, y'all. Nothing's happening. Nobody can see me. I'm blending in. I'm a tourist here at Disney World.
Bruh.
Exactly. That's the other thing is like, it's just, one just kind of vacationing away during all this. You need to get away with it. It's when we get these stupid criminals, the ones we enjoy talking about. But you know, there's sadly there was a dead puppers that was in the mix, and an individual who was quote allegedly kidnapped and held. You know, for as much as we're joking about a stupid criminal cop here, it is very devastating that an individual and a puppers kind of are in the mix on this one. So it
makes no sense in my head. Like, why would you kill a dog?
Why would you randomly kidnap someone in a different state? Just stupid people.
That
Officer Brown or former Officer Brown. We'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, it's once again just another dumb individual just causing problems in another location where so stupid. Any final thoughts here? Or anyways, you would hide, Liz? Is there a place you would hide after committing an actual?
Allegedly, maybe, possibly somewhere where nobody would think to look. In states or a country, another country. I do have my passport. I'll spend my 500,000 and roll out to Bali. We're good.
Kudos to Pluto's.
All right, then. Coming up next, from Eden's kidnapping to Ed the zebra escaped in Tennessee. No warrant involved, just a horse chime mixtape.
Zebra Jesus is waiting. So we've done Disneyland takeovers. We got a felony vacations. Now we're doing divine animal chaos.
Because of course, a zebra named Ed broke loose in Tennessee and lived his best life for over a week. Damn, a week.
Ed, not Stripes, not Sebastian, just Ed. Like he does taxes on the side.
So here's what happened. In Mount Juliet, Tennessee, a pet zebra, I didn't even know you could have a pet zebra. Pet zebra named Ed escaped from his enclosure and went full suburban cryptid.
Ed was spotted galloping down road, chilling in front yard, judging people through their ring cams like judgmental Walmart greeter.
And according to NBC and USA Today, it took officials over a week. Yes, I'm saying that, over a week, to safely tranquilize and capture him. The zebra was, okay, quote, the zebra was found and safely secured after being on the loose for more than 7 days, end quote, officials say.
He really did maintain, he really had main character. Runaway, that's a freedom arc.
My name is Jeff.
The wildest part. Tennessee doesn't require a permit to own a zebra. Just a fence and vibes, apparently.
You can't get liquor after 10 p.m., but you can own a whole ass zebra with no paperwork. America is thriving.
Multiple articles confirmed it. From NPR, quote, zebras are considered exotic livestock and there are no statewide restrictions unless it's a carnivore. Why can't I say that?
Carnivore.
Carnivore?
I don't know.
Wait, are we saying carnivore?
Carnivore.
Carnivore?
Carnivore.
The more we say it, the more we're just not saying it right. Continue. It doesn't eat meat.
I think it's you.
Oh.
So we draw the line at lions, but zebras? Nah. Just let it eat the begonias.
Of course, once the footage hit TikTok and local Facebook groups, it was game over. Someone dubbed him Zebra Jesus because apparently he crossed counties like he was Moses.
And you know someone on next door posted, there's a zebra in my backyard again. I'm bothered, coffee in hand.
The memes. Elite. One tweet actually said, we don't need police reform, we need zebra containment unit.
What would you do if a zebra showed up in your yard?
Offer it a Capri Sun and ask it about its trauma, obviously.
I assume I was in a simulation glitch. Like, am I a Nashville server or Jumanji?
Or did you hit the moment where it stares through you like in the window? You pay your mortgage for this? Or like, honestly, Ed, based.
Okay, your turn. What's the weirdest exotic pet you'd own if the laws didn't stop you?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good question. What's in a good exotic pet? Maybe a capybara with a tiny crown, a full emotional support vest. What about you?
A raccoon with a messenger bag and a grudge named Carl.
Tennessee's letting it happen. Zebras, raccoons, velociraptors, just toss it in a barn and call it a 4-H project. So, Ed was safely recovered, no charges filed, that's good, and presumably back home now, planning his next prison break.
He left, he saw the world, and came back stronger. Ed's not a zebra, Ed's a mindset.
So what do you think of this story?
I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. I mean, we need a little humor. I think the animal definitely did bring the humor. A zebra of all things. Like, I wouldn't think to have a zebra in my backyard, but, oh, hey. You're not going to have to charge crime taxes for it. You're good.
Bruh.
Exactly. That's interesting that because ever since, what was that? The Tiger King. Ever since the Tiger King showcase, my idea for quote exotic animals has always been that it's been illegal, but it seems like there's a lot of states that if it's not a carnivore, you can potentially just own it depending on animals. Apparently, I wonder what our state can let us have, because well,
Google it.
I can check.
I mean, we usually have the normal livestock, right?
Yeah, because my mother used to own like chickens and stuff, but that's kind of normal.
Your basic animal farms. I know that my dad at one point was looking on Texas, and we were gonna own an ostrich farm or something like that. That's
Ooh,
crazy.
ostriches. That's interesting.
Yeah. That was the only thing extreme I think we were looking at. I know my sister has some goats and chickens and dogs. And a pig. I take that back. It was a pot-bellied pig, but that's California for you. So, I don't know. An animal for me, I would want to have probably it would be a bunch of lizards, just because it would be fun.
Yeah. Let's see here. So looking into it, the quote exotic animals apparently that you do not you can legally own in the state of Oregon, no permit required, are apparently hedgehogs, which okay, I didn't know those were considered exotic animals. Sugar gliders, chinchillas, tarantulas, scorpions, ferrets, capybara. Sweet, I can get my capybara. Parrots.
Yes, you can.
Parrots, non-venomous snakes. There you go. Your snakes right. Your lizards right there.
I said
Llamas.
lizards, not snakes.
You don't like snakes?
I like snakes, but not to like. I don't know. I just don't find them
Appealing?
entertaining. Lizards, however, entertaining.
Okay, llamas and alpacas, and surprisingly, in some rural areas, counties, we can own zebras.
Ooh, my zebra farm is coming alive.
So yeah, or in some counties, they can own zebras.
We're moving to that county and owning a zebra.
So there's one more thing that we can look into that it gave me. It says the ones that require permits, a little bit more paperwork, are some wild and hybrid cats. Apparently in Oregon, monkeys or primates. Yes. Which exists.
So OHSU must own a lot of those permits.
Okay, so so for the state of Oregon, let me clarify this. Existing owners that were grandfathered in, no new owners. So you can't now. I think there's a new regulation that came out a couple of years ago, from the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. Whoever owned a monkey/primate before the regulations, still have ownership and are grandfathered in. But ever since the new law came into effect, you are not allowed to own monkeys or primates. No monkeys for us. Some wolf dog hybrids and some venomous reptiles. Those you need a permit. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, potential zebra farm for us. Hopefully, if we did have one, they will not run away. Oh,
Zebra ads part 2.
So, coming up next, animals that didn't escape but adapted instead. We're heading to Chernobyl exclusion zone, where dogs are literally mutating.
Dogs with a oh god, I cannot speak today. Apocalyptic DNA and zero interest in fetch. Let's go full Fallout.
So, the Chernobyl exclusion zone is still radioactive, right? Still dangerous. Still eerie. Still very don't lick the grass vibes.
Yeah, well, tell that to 300 plus stray dogs living there who are apparently just mutating, and maybe becoming superheroes.
Or villains. That's the real question. Because according to multiple studies released this year, the dogs of Chernobyl are genetically evolving in ways we've never seen. Not just surviving, but adapting on a DNA level.
So the study, published by a team of evolutionary biologists, looked at dogs living inside and around Chernobyl zone, comparing their genomes to dogs in non-radioactive areas.
And what they found? Quote, Chernobyl dogs are genetically distinct. They've developed unique mutations and potentially adapt mechanisms for surviving in toxic environments. End quote. That's from the popular. That's from Popular Mechanics and IFL Science.
It's Fallout, but if dog meat was real, scrappy, and possibly immune to gamma radiation,
they're basically apocalyptic pups 2.0. leaner, more isolated, and more social adapt to survive without humans or kibble.
And the heavy part? A lot of those dogs are descended from pets that were abandoned during the 1986 evacuation.
That gives it some real emotional weight. These animals were literally descendants of a disaster, survivors of a nuclear fallout, growing up amongst the ghost towns and decay of Ferris wheels.
They've been hunted, starved, radiated, and still they form packs, developed new behavioral patterns, and become their own wild ecosystem.
So, one of the researchers said that, quote, studying these dogs could help us understand how life evolves under extreme conditions, like climate change, urban collapse, or radiation, end quote, which is equal parts inspiring and pretty terrifying.
Like Chernobyl's giving us biological crystal ball and is shaped like a very judgmental stray mutt.
But there's also the ethical layer. Are we studying these dogs or just watching their trauma, like is a new National Geographic Fallout edition?
Are we learning from them, or are we just waiting for them to grow thumbs and take revenge? Real question. If you lived in Chernobyl for 10 years, what's your weirdest mutation?
That's a good question. A weird one would probably be grow an extra eyelid that only opens during passive aggressive arguments. Hyper aware but emotionally repressed. What about you?
I want to see glitter. No purpose, just vibes, just chaos sparkle.
There you go. You'll literally be a TikTok star in 15 minutes. So the online rhetoric, not the rhetoric, the reactions. Reddit was unhinged about this. Someone posted that these dogs are smarter than 80% of crypto influencers and have more bite.
Twitter called them ghost dogs of the Eastern Bloc. And honestly, that's a graphic G waiting to happen.
And also, when I was looking through this, I also saw a comment that said, these dogs don't bark, they radiate disappointment.
Same. Honestly, same.
Bruh.
So these dogs aren't glowing in the dark, but they are evolving right in front of us, becoming something we've never seen.
Living proof that when humans mess up catastrophically, nature doesn't just recover, it adapts with teeth.
Yeah, that is true. That is interesting. That is one of the things is we do have this section. Did you ever watch the what was it? Was it Max? I forget what the name of which streaming service had the show Chernobyl. Did you ever watch that?
I think I intended to watch it, never sat down to watch it. You know, do I ever sit still enough? No.
True, but yeah, I watched it. I think I saw it twice, just to get the quote the dramatization of the events that happened. It's pretty crazy just to kind of see an idea of what was happening during that time, and then we are living in the time and the aftermath, and it's still pretty bad. It's gone slightly better as of these couple years, but now we're seeing some real ramifications from it, right? Seeing these dogs trying to
almost 40 years of it. So
when was it?
1986. So yeah, we're looking at it almost 40 years. This will be 39 this year. Think about it. So
yeah, it's getting to but yeah, it's one of those things that radioactivity really messes up with the molecular level in your DNA. Just seeing these animals and seeing how they have adapted, it's crazy. It's interesting, but like we were looking through this article, it's like it can be a little saddening because these could have been a lot of these were ancestors of like family pets that were just abandoned because they weren't able to take them, and to see what they'll become, that'll be interesting to see down the line. Because they are adapting to the best. What are your thoughts on this whole looky-loo
And as I'm
into.
thinking about it, I might have seen an episode of it, but that was so long ago. But it might have been like a blip, you know, like I was watching a series of like weird things, and that was like the blip. Like there was one episode dedicated to it, and then I moved on. I think it's an interesting thing. It's kind of scary to think, you know, but it's kind of weird and cool that we got to see this manipulation of how things adapt after a radioactive explosion. So I don't know. It's weird. It's chaos. It's kind of sad that they couldn't bring their pets along, and I'm curious where this is all gonna lay out. I mean, is it gonna unfold our future right there? Who knows?
Oh, only time could tell. Only time can tell. So, all right. So coming up next, when clout goes nuclear, we're heading to the Las Vegas Strip, where a YouTube copyright feud ended in live stream murder.
Yep, it's Murder by GoPro. Final boss level internet rot. Let's go.
Are you out of your mind?
This one, next one, yeah, it's dark. We're talking about a real tragedy. 2 people were killed while live streaming, literally in real time. During a YouTube beef exploded into deadly violence.
Crazy, right? So, the incident took place on Sunday night, June 8th, so just recently, near the iconic Bellagio fountains at the Las Vegas Strip. The victims, Rodney, thank you. Rodney, thank you. Well, the victims, Rodney Finlay, and his wife,
Finley.
Finlay, thank
Tanisha.
you. Tanisha, known to fans as the Finny the Legend and Bubbly. Okay, so those are now we'll call Finny and Bubbly. We'll call them that. We use here, for online purposes. But YouTube stars in their early 40s. That lets you know that you can still make content whatever age.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they were live streaming as they walked while with the fountain in the background.
Witnesses and police confirmed the shooting was captured on their live YouTube stream, which ended abruptly when their phone hit the ground and an officer appeared on camera.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Bruh.
So the alleged shooter, Manuel D. Rios, also a streamer known as Sin City Manny, so we'll call him Manny moving forward, surrendered to the police. So he has surrendered to the police as of Monday, so he's not out and about, in Henderson's, Nevada. He now faces 2 counts of murder, open murder with a deadly weapon, and is being held without bail.
Authorities said there has been a years-long online feud going back to 2023, including copyright strikes, pepper spray incidents, threats, and escalating live stream drama.
Damn. So police reports revealed that Manny pulled a gun from his waistband on camera and fired 5 to 7 shots. One one particularly harrowing detail. Bubbly grabbed for the phone before more shots rang out, sending the live stream into silence.
One police officer disrupted Manny's claims of self-defense, noting no weapons were found on the victims. Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolferson called Manny's story probably garbage based on evidence.
So, let me double check. Finny. Yeah, thank you. Finny's mother, Gracie, told CBS Arizona that the feud had been spiraling since 2023. 2-year spiral. She even warned her son, quote, "I said, come on, this is getting too far. Calm it down," end quote.
His young son was live streaming with them that night, he told police. "Oh, I was on stream when it happened. Then I heard the shots and the phone dropped." End quote.
So here's the general breakdown of what happened. So the long simmering online feud between the content creators escalated. 2 streamers are live streaming on the strip, and a rival shows up, pulls a gun, and shoots him. And then he walks into police custody the next day. And the live streamed that's then that live in the live streams the surrender. I don't know what that. Little worded a little off.
I
But
assume the stronger.
yeah. But yeah, that's a gist.
Self-harm. That's murder live, real horror, out in the open with comments still rolling. What makes it so surreal is how fast the internet folded. Streamers, fans, even bystanders were scrambling to make sense of a murder playing out on camera.
Exactly. Let's start with some of the fallout among fellow creators. So, one we've seen before, Atozi, one of the biggest IRL commentators, dropped a quick mid-air breakdown. He said, quote, "We used to worry about being swatted. Now it's, are we gonna get shot while doing a hot tub collab?" Here's one of his responses. And I'll play for everyone.
Why? I mean, these dudes look like they're in their 40s. The IRL streamer brain rot now has unks crashing out for some attention online. But as I said earlier, many falsely copyright striked Finney's channel first.
Yeah. Continue.
Right? That line stopped the internet. The irony of real violence smashing through the algorithm's bubble live.
Meanwhile, platforms were trying to scrub the footage, but not before the clip of the shooting were screenshotted or reposted on X, Reddit, and Telegram channels.
One Reddit thread titled Real Time Murders LOL hit 10,000 upvotes in hours. The comment section was a mix of horror, denial, and morbid memes.
Major news outlets followed suit. CBS reported the viral element emphasis and how social media fueled conflicts, spun offline violence.
The Times of India ran with, quote, Sin City Manny Wise claims self-defense, end quote. It highlighted how Manny falsely alleged he thought Finley pulled a gun, despite no weapon visible.
On a viral clip, you could see the camera wobble, then gunfire. Comments were flooded with, quote, "I can't believe this just happened," end quote. Or another quote, "We were just watching a collab and now it's a crime scene."
Parents are horrified. Centennial commenters said they were too scared to let the kids watch streamers' content anymore, end quote.
A friend of Finley told reporters, "This was brewing for 2 years. If Ware hadn't been arresting, he could have been there."
Could you imagine hearing that one from a loved one? This could have been me if I'd shown up. End quote.
So, yeah. So legal experts are now argue platform should be held responsible. Oh, this is interesting. Once again, one of these legal experts now argue platforms should be held responsible. Streaming a gun attack with no delay, that's not oversight, that's just malpractice.
Some are calling for mandatory delay systems. A few seconds may have prevented crossover from performance to murder. Have you streamed anything remotely close to a confrontation?
I'm trying to think. Maybe, but I don't do live streams that much. Maybe we were talking some shit when we were having like dinner when I was doing it before in the day. But yeah, I mean, no thanks there.
Boundary between content and dangers just got laser thin overnight.
So here's the takeaway. The reaction just wasn't just shocked. It spurred real debate about safety, platform policy, and how quickly things went from digital drama to violence on tape. We've heard the sirens. Oh no.
We've heard the sirens, we've read the reactions. Now what happens next?
So, this is what we have so far. So, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police have charged Manuel Sun City Manny Rios with 2 counts of open murder with open murder with a deadly weapon. Both charges carry no bail, and prosecutors are reportedly exploring the death penalty. Oh yeah, I forgot Nevada had.
Manny claims he shot in self-defense, but District Attorney Steve Wolferson publicly dismissed the claim. I think it's probably garbage. No indication that self-defense would be viable, end quote.
So, victims, Rodney and Tanisha, known online as Finny, the Legend, and Bubbly, are being remembered by their family as kind, generous, and full of energy. A friend described Rodney as a good father and was always checking in, and Tanisha as having an infectious personality, end quote.
Her son was live during the shooting, the final witness on live stream that none of us should have seen. Family members say they wish they raised an alarm sooner.
YouTube has since removed all live stream footage and is reportedly reviewing the live stream protocols, but critics argue that it's too little, too late. Platforms are still relying on reactive content takedowns, not preemptive safety measures.
This isn't the first time live stream violence has surfaced, and it won't be the last unless major changes are made. Experts are pushing for buffer delays, real-time monitoring, and stricter safeguards for IRL streaming.
This wasn't just a tragedy. It was a culture turning point. A case that turned the question of, wow, this could happen, into, wow, we watched it happen.
And it's raising real moral questions. How much are we willing to watch? What do we owe our content creators? And at what point does entertainment bleed into exploitation?
So, Liz, this episode, this story, how do we even process it?
It's raw. It's a reminder that clout and cameras and don't protect you. More than ever, we gotta ask, is live streaming worth the risk? Is the audience complicit if we don't look away?
We joke about peak culture and the media absurdity, but this isn't absurd. It's tragic. It's living proof that the content we consume has real world consequences.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we think about it. This content is just, it's overwhelming. If we knew about this beef, right, there would be something to be talked about. Maybe more preventive measures could be managed. But the fact that I don't know what spurred this conflict between the two, it seems like they had two different, things. And then the fact that the son witnessed the parent's death was just automatically tragic. Like, that
and whatever amount of people were watching the live stream.
I mean, I just think about the son, like waking up and
so yeah,
a nightmare that never seems to cease.
Yeah, we can discuss different parts of it. So the interesting is, like, there are millions and millions of people, ourselves included, that make content, and we have a small audience, but we appreciate you all. And if we randomly got into a feud with another content creator, not many people would take notice, because we are just such a small, we are very small fish in the ocean. Like, it's always, when we talk about these bigger controversies, it's always like the people who have millions of followers. So from what I looked a little bit into it, these two content creators, they had size, but not as big as you think. And what would you think their size would be? How big do you think their audience size was? They're like YouTube.
They had at least 20,000 people, at least, maybe.
Roughly close to that. Actually, let me double check. But yeah, these guys were, that's still a lot of people. That's still a lot of people. You have 20, even if it was just 20,000. Let's see.
City, Manny.
So Sin City Manny alone. Oh, they've removed his YouTube channel.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. He had 14,000K, which is still
Okay.
like, that's still pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
But yeah, it's like, and they were fighting. Do you know what a copy strike is, or copyright strike is?
I guess something they said something that was along the lines of his theme or whatever, and he saw it and asked them to stop doing that, and basically in a legal way.
So let me see. Let me see if I can find an easy way.
I that's how I interpret it.
Okay. Let me see here. All right, so here we go. So there's a way to do it. So a YouTube copyright strike is a digital case and cease and desist. It's a digital cease and desist. If you use someone else's video, music, or content without permission, the owner can file a claim. If YouTube agrees, you can get a strike on your channel. 3 strikes in 90 days and your channel gets deleted. Think of it like baseball, but instead of a bat, you use Beyonce's song. So if you're using someone else, so say I made a video about a video you were talking about, and I used a little bit of your video, and you're like, wait, that person's using my video, I don't like it. If I didn't properly use
Notify
fair
me.
use, if I didn't use fair use and I uploaded the entire video without any context, then you could copyright strike me. But if I did use fair use, then I could say no, I'm using this, I'm using it as a reference and stuff. That's where a lot of these copyright strike is. It's when using other people's content. That's why we kind of have to always be a little bit sketchy with music and stuff like that. That's why you notice that we don't do a lot of that. Just because we would get a lot of those, and like I said, 3 strikes and we lose the channel. But yeah, they were arguing back and forth about this. That's how it kind of just started to, like, they're just content fighting basically on some of the things that were being uploaded from each other. So that's how it started. And it seems like it escalated. There were a few incidents in there, and then it just led to this sad moment, sadly. So the other thing is talking about, kind of, we were talking about in the last week's episode, just the what can happen to creators like ourselves when things are like misinterpreted by the audience or other creators, and then for those who are streaming mostly in IRL, you're just not safe. What are your thoughts on that when you can get quote attacked online and then potentially in real world? What are your thoughts when it comes to these things?
I feel like, we should respect each other's content, and notify the other person respectfully. But, I know things happen, and whether they were taken out of context or just miss oops, I mean, everybody's imperfect, right? But the fact that it just kept escalating, even though it was, it might have been a just simple apology. Hey, I'm sorry, I won't do that again, kind of thing. I thought it was my video, or you know, you can try so hard to be, we're not perfect human beings and we all make mistakes. And I think if we own it, we'll be fine. But, some people don't own it. And that's where the problem starts escalating too. And you're not taking ownership, then it becomes an issue. Yeah. And then, of course, obviously, it's scary to think that somebody would actually draw a gun on somebody who didn't have any guns on themselves either. So, weapons.
Well, I think it's a little bit more wild, mostly this situation where someone thought it was right in their mind to go find this person who was live streaming because they knew where they were because they were live streaming IRL, so they could find them easily, and like basically attack them. It's kind of similar a little bit in the sense where the whole Johnny Somali thing, because when he was live streaming, a bunch of people were going after him, but that's because he was being an asshole and they just didn't want him around. This one's more of a one-to-one online beef. So it's like the thing, like, should you be like responsible for like, oh yeah, you're live streaming yourself, so you should hold yourself, have some level of responsibility, like, yeah, you're letting people know that you're going to be in this location, so is it really, it shouldn't be anyone else's fault for you to get like stream snipe, basically. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think somebody should release it until they're there, that they're there. But, at the same time, if there is open communication between, other streamers, be like, hey, I'm going to be in this area. I'm overlapping you. I'm sorry. Or do you want to collab? You know what I mean? Like, there should be some sort of thing, because I think you don't want to, like, release too much information, because what happens if that person has that vendetta and wants to take it out on you at that moment in time?
Like remember that the California thing, the other live stream we watched. Yeah. Similar to that, because they were just live streaming that they were at the fair or carnival. I can't remember, but they were just, and you could find it because it was a public known location, right? And then just like, oh, I know where that is. I'll go to that place. What do you think? Mostly, that's another situation where it's just like streamers got attacked online. Luckily, that one did not end. Could have, but it luckily didn't end anything so bad. But continuing on, what do you think when it comes to like situations like that where they are in public locations, very recognizable locations, and people just come up to them with malicious intent potentially?
That's hard, because if you want to do IRL streaming, you have this potential to happen. I mean, you're letting people let this happen too, so you're kind of responsible too. So,
which sucks.
That and
sucks.
But at the same time, you have to take those precautions. Like, okay, so I need a bodyguard or two. Or for this group of people, we should have, X, Y, Z for it's 2 bodyguards per 1 person. I don't know, something like that. Or 1 bodyguard to 2 people, whatever ratio you want to do. But you should take precautions too. It's a thing you should have. I think it's so hard. It's just like, because I'm not in that. I mean, I'm here live streaming, not live streaming, but we're streaming. We
are creating content. We are content creators.
Yeah, we're creating content. I think it's a little bit different if we were making it in real life content, like we were like sitting there doing this, right? So together in the same room, and we were just walking around whatever city, Portland, and do we tell people about it? Do we not tell people about it? Oh, people are gonna figure it out real quick. I mean,
exactly. One street sign.
There's so many variables that it's just so complicated, so quickly, so fast. So, and then how do you not stop from overlapping with somebody else that might be there too? So,
because at this day, like, so many people are live streaming, recording. Like, it's just everyone's doing something. Like we said, everyone's making posts, everyone's doing something. So, then let's continue on. What do you think of this whole discussion where services like YouTube, we'll throw some of the other live stream services like Twitch and Kick and things of that nature, who offer these live services? What do you think holding them responsible for? Like yeah,
they should hold some responsibility too. I mean, I feel like they kind of have an idea of what's going on behind the scenes too. Not because we're not seeing the full video at that moment in time, but I feel like they have a little bit of understanding because they have access to all the records and all the back and forth comments that might be said on the that one video 5 videos ago. That was 5 weeks ago. This comment was made. I'm gonna hurt you. Blah blah blah. So even though it might have been deleted, it might have been taken off, but what I mean. I think they should have some sort of and how I'm trying to word it right. They should have been proactive. They should have known. They should have been involved somewhat. Be like, hey guys, cool off. We're gonna stop your streaming devices for 2 weeks because I feel like you need to calm down. Something, I don't know.
Yeah,
but also yes, they should be. And somebody should be there being proactive, and maybe there should be a delay before this, information gets a live action murder.
Basically, yeah, it's tough. That's a real discussion. It's a discussion we've had before, and it continues. Of should these platforms be held responsible? So should the creators be responsible? It's a tough one. A lot of people have put delays and things of that nature on their own side to kind of mitigate some of these things. People have put on things and then trying to hold individuals accountable. Sometimes people don't get held accountable in the same way. We've talked about different biases from different sites. Some people get punished while others don't because they see them favorably than others. Like, so if you're doing better than me and I know I'm in the right and you're in the wrong and they favor you, more than likely I'll get punished and you won't. Things of that nature happens. And is that fair in itself? It's just, there's a lot. It's a whole debate that's been happening. But at this point, I personally don't think services should be held that responsible, but should have some more, what's the word I want to, more, not punishments, more consequences to situations that escalate to an extent, right? And then just kind of fixing their moderation of having everyone be held more responsible equally when things escalate to an extent, when content is affecting other creators in a malicious level. If someone's just joking around and saying, "Oh, Liz, you're just a I'm trying to think of it. It's an insult. Help me, Liz. I need an insult.
You're just a dumbass."
Yeah, you're.
I don't know.
Just some stupid insult. Just like Liz, you're just some fat Karen mom who don't know what you're saying. Should shut up. Things of that nature. Should that be held? Should that be as critical as someone who is maliciously attacking you? Like, they're both arguments, but is one worse than the other, right? It's not someone trying to tell you to unalive yourselves. Which one? Being called a fat Karen or someone trying to basically telling you to unalive yourself? Which one's worse, right?
Yeah.
So
the unaliving obviously is worse, but I feel like it could have escalated with the fat Karen, hey, quit. I mean, you think about it, both sides can be very. It depends. I mean, and somebody just might do it just for the content. Be like, hey, we're just gonna start a little star up at the trouble and move on, right?
The shitsters.
We've seen those kind of people. We know that those people exist. So like, oh, we're just gonna push somebody's buttons just to say, hey,
Yep, that's literally some of the live streamers that are currently facing jail time. So, yeah, it's wild. Sadly, some people are now not here with us anymore. So that's it for this horrible situation and for this deep dive.
But yes, we end on a heavy note. But if the episode does anything, it exposes the danger present when boundaries dissolve between drama, performance, and violence.
If you stream, stay safe. If you watch, set your own ethical filter. Just remember there's a person behind every view.
We're not giving answers here, just asking questions and hopefully making folks pause before they hit go live.
So, call it there for our story.
If you made it through Disneyland flexes, felony vacations, zebra jailbreaks, some radioactive dog lore, and UT beef ending in double homicide,
Then congratulations, you are now emotionally bulletproof and probably subscribed already.
and if you're not, fix that right now.
We're officially the 7th best weird news podcast online. And that's not a bit, that's a vibe and possibly a clerical error.
But we will ride the mediocrity glory all the way to the algorithm's weird little heart.
So here's the deal. Like the episode if you're watching on YouTube, follow or subscribe if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or literally anywhere else that you let us live rent-free in your brain.
Leave us a comment telling us your exotic pet escape plan, what you do with a $500K a date, and whether you'd survive Chernobyl dog park rules.
And please, share this episode with your friends, your enemy, your barista, your ex. We are fueled by the word of mouth and pure delusion.
I guess when you do, we're at Convoluted Pod on all things. Come vibe with us on the online trash fire where we belong.
So, just to kind of recap this episode, MrBeast flexed on love, a cop booked at Disney, and a finale. Ed the Zebra entered its Netflix era. Fallout dogs evolved into bite-sized mutants, and live streams got way too real.
We laughed, we spiraled, we questioned everything, and we'll be back next week with even weirder shit.
Stay chaotic, stay curious, and if you see a zebra in your backyard,
Give it a Capri Sun and tell her we said hey.
your favorite news dumpster fire
Favorite news dumpster fire with jokes.
with jokes.
Anything old after 93 can't cook. All they know is McDonald's charged their phony hot chip and lies.